The artifact of the snake goddess Manasa is a stone sculpture from India made during the 12th century. Manasa is seated, with 7 snakes coming from behind her head, while holding an 8th snake in her left hand. Manasa is also holding fruit in her right hand. The snakes in this sculpture of Manasa represent her ability to ward off or cure snake bites, while the fruit that she holds represents her ability to provide agricultural prosperity. Snakes in Indian culture represent numerous things, depending on the folklore. The most common reason of death for the longest time in India was snake bites, so snakes are often feared in their culture. However, snakes were much more complex. For instance, they can represent both life and death. The artifact of Rahula is also a sculpture, but made of copper alloy. The sculpture was crafted during the 15th century in Tibet. Rahula is a deity with a male torso, 9 stacked heads, one of them being a raven's head, 4 arms, and a lower body of a coiled-up serpent. Rahula is part snake, and the tail part actually represents a different deity. This deity is named Ketu, who supposedly causes comets in the sky. Rahula as a whole was thought to bring strokes to medicine practitioners who did not perform rituals at the right time or perform their rituals incorrectly. In Tibetan culture, snakes represent hatred or aversion. They may also represent 5-fold theory, which includes 5 elements, 5 Buddha, 5 colors, and so on. In comparison, it's obvious that snakes are extremely important to both Indian and Tibetan cultures and mythology. However, the Indian culture seems to put a more positive spin on their serpent deities. This may explain that they have more respect over fear for the creatures. Another way to support this thought is that the deity Manasa is female, which are often thought to be more nurturing. The Tibetan deity Rahula is male, and he is much more feared. Just by looking at Manasa, the Indian culture seems to be more friendly towards their deities and exhibit genuine respect. There is a true connection between the people and their deities, in which they feel honored to be protected by deities such as Manasa, and are willing to give back to their deities. Tibetan culture appears to combine many deities to form something complex and usually feared. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and your visit to the museum.